Welcome to episode 6 of the Good Endeavor Short-Term Rental Show. I'm your host, Mark McDaniel. It is great to have you guys today. Today we're going to be talking about, you've got a nice house, but you have a terrible interior. You're not telling a good story. Let me just tell you, it's not what you like in the house, it's what the guests want to experience. So let's get our personal preferences kind of out of the way and think about the experience of the guest. There are 3 big topics that go along with the main topic today that I want to discuss. The first one is your short-term rental needs to resemble more of a boutique hotel than a house that somebody lives in. Nobody wants to walk in and see a wooden bed frame that somebody may or may not have slept in last night. Whether it's true or not, a sleek, nice, new-looking design, whether 20 people have slept in there or not, the fact that it looks new paints a picture and creates an image and develops a perception that you want. If you have an old bed frame and a brand new mattress and nobody's ever slept there versus a newish bed frame with a newish mattress, the perception is that nobody or very few people have slept in the newish one, and a bunch of people have slept in the old one just because you have this old looking bed frame. Don't do it. The second thing I want to discuss is don't be afraid of color. Make sure it matches the area that you're in. You don't want like some crazy flamingo colors that might work well in Miami and the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee and vice versa. And then the third thing, which I can't emphasize enough, is part of your design, but is part of the amenity package, are the amenities themselves. Just, if you're going to do it right. Spend a little bit of money on amenities. And so when you're telling the story of why people will want to rent your home, amenities will be a big part of this. Coffee maker, actual coffee, the games that you choose, the outdoor fire pit, things like that is all part of a unique design experience that they're going to have at your house. We want to get this idea of the decor in your own house, like the decor in the house that you live in primarily, get that out of your head. We don't want any tchotchkes, no pictures of ourselves, no plants, no clutter, nothing on the floor. We want it to be very experiential. This is what paints the picture of a vacation and not staying in somebody's back bedroom. Let's go back to this idea of thinking about our short-term rental in the image of a boutique hotel. So I'm not talking about like a chain hotel, like a Hampton Inn, where things are kind of vanilla and just very sterile looking. Sterile's not a bad thing, but it's not the image that we want to paint. But a hotel that has a unique look, maybe like a real glossy paint or unique colors, or maybe they have like a velvet headboard in every room. Maybe they have an accent wall in every room. Maybe they have a unique game room. Maybe they have a really cool lobby with unique art in the lobby. Nothing personal, no pictures of their families, but they do, unless you're the Marriott family, I guess. But they do have unique paintings, so unique art. That's always really cool. Colors, obviously, which is the next topic we're going to talk about. Things that make you stand out and make you feel like you're a hotel. So we're talking about unique amenities like shampoos, conditioners, soaps, good towels, good sheets, nice mattresses, crisp, clean, nothing that makes them think, man, I'm just crawling in this bed after a stranger. We don't want that. That leads me into the kind of the second topic in this lineup is don't be afraid of color. We always think that the neutral grays and browns are non-offensive and will attract more guests. And while that is somewhat true, the problem is that it doesn't help you stand out at all. And so let's take, for instance, a market like the Smoky Mountains. There are hundreds and hundreds of cabins up there with tongue and groove walls and bear prints on the sofas and deer prints on the chairs, and they all have a pool table and they all have dust coming out of it. And so when I think of that, I think, man, like there are so many choices in this category. What you want is, yeah, you've got that part of the cabin. Say you like that. We'll make a lot of the cabin like that. But what we really want to focus on in our pictures is maybe we have one awesome great room, the one where all the windows are, and it's painted like a neutral kind of milky white. And maybe we have like a really cool gray accent wall to fit the surroundings. We wouldn't want to make that like crazy turquoise or anything. Maybe in the bedrooms we have like this velvet looking headboard that's like a dark green, just not brown. And maybe on the sofa we have like some splash of colors on the pillows. And so when it comes to like pillows and accent walls and bar stools, we want to think differently. We can still go with the neutrals in general, but we want to think differently when it comes to things like I just said, pillows, accent walls, headboards, bar stools, just maybe one great room in the house where there's a lot of color, and that's the one we want to emphasize in our pictures. So things like that, we want to make it feel like it's something unique, something where somebody took the time to think about design to actually make this unique for us. Because here's the thing, it's kind of a domino effect. When I think, man, somebody took this cabin and they took the time to think through making this thing unique for me, that means if they're thinking about that, they're thinking about making my stay unique. They're thinking about making my experience unique. They're thinking about things that other ones aren't thinking about. They're not just trying to slap some decent furniture in there and the kitchen amenities and put it on Airbnb as soon as possible so they can start making money as soon as possible. They actually took a week or two extra and they put some time and effort into it. So think about that when you think of the color palette. And the third topic within this lineup are the amenities. This is part of your decor. This is part of the interior. This is part of the story that you're telling your guests. You're telling your guests, we care so much about your experience that we're going to do these extra things. Like we love, for instance, for anybody who knows what Golden Tee is out there, we love this game called Golden Tee. Sometimes we'll have guests in there that spend a whole weekend just playing Golden Tee. It's unbelievable. There are a certain amount of people out there that will have an attraction to that specific game and they'll rent your house for that specific game. I can tell you right now that the multicade with Pac-Man and Frogger is not that. Nobody's going to rent your house because you have a multicade like an all-in-one game machine that stands on itself and you are just trying to check the box to try to fill a gap that nobody wants. Somebody told you, hey, you need to have games, so you went out and got the cheapest one. No, don't do that. Resist the urge. Same way with your shuffleboard. Like there are cheap shuffleboard tables, then there are nice shuffleboard tables. You're telling a story. Like you don't want a $2 million house with a $500 shuffleboard game in it. You want to tell the story, hey, we care about your experience. Other experiential items are swimming pools, putting greens, outdoor fire pits are outstanding. One thing that's really cool to do is if you have an outdoor fire pit, give them a s'mores kit as part of their amenity package. So we're painting this picture. You're going to be here. So this is what we're saying. You're going to be here with your family, enjoying all of these things together. I think about things like, I just want to go to a place where my children don't feel like they need to be on their phones. I want to paint the picture of, hey, look, once you leave the house, you're 5 miles from this destination. You're going to spend a lot of your day at this destination. On your way back, there's these 3 restaurants to choose from. This one's great Mexican. This one's great steak. This one's great Italian. If you decide to, this is the grocery store on the way. Stop, pick up this type of food. while you're in the kitchen cooking and having a great time and having a glass of wine with your friends. Then the kids can either play a round of golden tee, or they can be out in the hot tub, or they can be playing in the pool. And then we can all have dinner together, tell great stories about what happened that day, and then we can all go outside by the fire pit and roast these s'mores and tell more stories and have a better time. Think about this. Think through this. Think of the story that we're telling these potential guests. To recap, we're all humans and we all relate to stories. We all are more easily sold to if it's in the form of a story. So think about, we're always telling a story. You're either telling a story that you don't care, that you didn't put these pictures in order, that you didn't take the time to paint the picture. If they're not going to take time to paint the picture, and if they're not going to take time to really focus on my experience, then I'm going to rent from somebody who does. That's extreme, but think about it that way. When we don't take time to paint the picture and tell the story, you leave the chance that they are painting their own picture, and that picture may or may not be accurate. And so if we're not painting the picture, then somebody else is painting it for us. And if they're painting it, then they come to that experience, or they come to that stay with a jumbled up idea of how they're going to experience your property. We want to be in control of that picture. This is what I want you to do this week. I want you to make one design change. Create an accent wall in a bedroom. Add an awesome amenity. Buy a new game. Just do something to make this experience awesome. You don't have to do it for everything, but key things stand out, like a kitchen stove. If it's a nice kitchen stove, that might stand out to the chef in the family. If it's a nice golden tee, that might stand out to the one who loves to play video games. If there's a nice pool, that will stand out to the family who wants their kids to experience a pool. Hot tub, fire pit, all this stuff. It truly is experiential, and it all stands out. And do something to let the guests know that their experience will be truly unique and that they'll create memories by staying in your short-term rental. When they believe the story that you're telling, when someone believes this, the chances of them following through with that story are very high. So they're going into that stay thinking, wow, this is what we're going to do in the morning. This is what we're going to do in the afternoon. This is where we're going to eat. This is what we're going to do after dinner. This is what we're going to do at night. This is like the bed, the comfortable bed that we're going to stay in. You're painting their vacation for them, and the chances of them following through with the picture that you're painting are pretty high. They create this series of events in their head that they can now follow through on, which creates special times and special memories. If our ultimate goal is to create a special time and a special memory, and we paint the picture and tell the story of them having this special time and special memory, the chances of them following through on that are higher than if we don't paint the picture and we leave the story to chance. Thank you for paying attention today on this special short-term rental podcast episode. We really appreciate you guys. Tune in next week for episode 7.